Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with Europe decimated by an apocalyptic event, with just a few survivors. There is a mystery force in the universe that can persuade individuals into killing themselves, and it is spreading throughout the entire planet. Sebastian and his daughter Anna are seeking refuge in a Barcelona skating rink. Suddenly, they get startled by a noise, and flee. When they take a sharp turn in a corridor, Sebastian is knocked to the ground by a bunch of blind individuals. After striking him a few times, the group takes his supply bag, and leaves. Sebastian discovers a shattered bottle on the ground, and considers using it to protect himself, but Anna warns him not to. They close their eyes and exit the building, discovering the streets ruined and full of bodies. After some trekking, they come across a group of fellow survivors, so Sebastian advises Anna to conceal, before asking the group if they can join them. He reveals he used to be a building engineer, and claims to know where to find generators that can supply light and indoor warmth, which allays the group's fears. This persuades him to become a member of the organization. The party transports him to a bus station, where he is hiding with other survivors, and he meets Liliana, a doctor who treats his injuries. Later over dinner, he meets a man who sewed his own eyes for safety and sanity, and he tells him about the awful things he's seen people do when under the influence of the monster. This individual adds, while most people are terrified of the thing, others are unaffected, and may wander around the city without wearing blindfolds. These people are referred to as seers. Those who aren't immune, on the other hand, are hunted down and killed by the seers. Everyone falls asleep on the bus after supper, and Sebastian sees a chance. He creeps around the office, grabs all the keys, and then tries them all on the bus. The ruckus wakes Liliana, who tries to stop him, but Sebastian locks the driver's door, and swears he's doing it to free them all. When he finally finds the correct key, he begins driving the bus awkwardly around the station, waking up the passengers. The other survivors break the door open, and begin hitting Sebastian in an attempt to get him to stop, but this only makes him drive worse, and he eventually smashes through the front door, making it outside, only to crash again and overturn the bus. Sebastian claims the thing is coming, and considers it wonderful as soon as he crawls out of the bus. When the first guy sees the entity, he instantly ends things for himself, and Sebastian notices how a light departs his body. Liliana and the others emerge with their eyes closed, but Sebastian urges them to open them, in order to see the monster. Except for him, all the survivors proceed to end things for themselves, one by one, using various brutal methods. Sebastian watches as glowing lights leave their bodies and ascend to heaven, while Anna reappears and takes her father's hand, stating everything is okay, because he saved them. Suddenly, there's a flashback to 9 months ago, when Barcelona was initially attacked by this unknown monster. Sebastian was in the middle of his work, when he received the notice, and people in the office were already terminating things for themselves without warning. Sebastian hurried to the streets, when his wife called to beg him to pick up Anna from school, where people were fleeing for their lives, in full despair and pandemonium. When he ran to the tube station, he witnessed a swarm of injured people and items circling him. As many fell victim to the entity's might, he ran, realizing something was amiss. He then returned to the streets, where a building blew up. He ultimately arrived at the school, and spotted a dead nun on a desk, and all the girls fled. Sebastian found Anna, and the two of them fled together. When they arrived at the entryway, however, something outside detonated, and ignited a fire. The duo tried to leave through the school chapel, and ran into the school's pastor, Esteban. The apparition, according to this preacher, was an angel, and its divine presence made it hard for people to look at it. Esteban proposed that humanity be liberated from the limits of life itself, in order to avert more misery. Sebastian was deeply moved by this thought. He immediately threw his jacket around Anna, and rushed to their apartment building, only to see Anna's mother getting hit by a car while crossing the street. Back to the present, Sebastian and Anna stop by the church for a quick prayer. Sebastian notices a painting move, confirming his status as a seer, who sees things and believes killing people through the entity saves their souls. When the duo returns to the streets, they discover individuals killing themselves, and Sebastian claims the creature is a lovely angel, before watching the shining lights depart their bodies. He later notices a woman entering a store. He tries to sneak up on her, but some dogs attack him first, revealing a large group of survivors, commanded by the dog's owner, Rafa. The group consists of Octavio, the couple Roberto and Isabel, Claire, and Sophia, a young German girl who reminds him a lot of Anna. Rafa resists at first when Sebastian asks him to join the group, but Sebastian quickly wins them over with the generator narrative. When the objects around them begin to float, signaling the arrival of the creature, the group swiftly departs. They eventually reach their destination, an old anti-war refuge. Sebastian informs the group that he is alone, but Anna lingers in the background, advising him he should use the girl to force everyone to come out. A brawl breaks out as Sebastian suddenly admits he lied about the generator, but Sophia intervenes to stop them, since she doesn't want any more people to be wounded. Sebastian speaks German to her, and learns she was separated from her mother during their journey to Barcelona. Sophia also recounts hearing a transmission about a mountain castle, supposed to be the entity's safest haven. She also draws a picture of the castle, and the cable car that takes you there. Isabel deduces that the drawing is alluding to Manchuk. After debating the pros and cons, the gang decides to go there, in the hopes of finding food and safety within the castle's walls. At night, before they leave, Sebastian has a strange nightmare about everything that has happened to him. They set out for Manchuk in the morning, pausing only once to grab a map. Being outside brings back another memory, this time of Sebastian from 8 months ago. He used his GPS to direct him to the hospital, where he asked a doctor for Anna, who had a fever. Sebastian was compelled to return to his flat, as things began to float. Back in the present, the gang comes to a halt for the night, and Sebastian spots Anna watching them from afar. He takes advantage of the opportunity to ruin the dog's leashes, after everyone has gone to sleep. The next morning, the gang is suddenly encircled on the streets by the entity, which utilizes the voices of people's lost loved ones. As everyone becomes disoriented and preoccupied, the leash snaps, and the dogs flee. Sophia hears her mother instruct her to uncover her eyes, but Octavio intervenes just in time. Rafa is looking for his dogs, and when he hears them screaming out in pain, he takes off his blindfold, only to see the entity, and die. The dogs and Roberto both come to check on him, only to be bitten by the animals. Octavio discovers a house they can use, and blasts his whistle, allowing everyone to follow them inside. While Isabel tends to Roberto's wound, Octavio explains his theory. He believes the entity is a quantum being, that exists within a shifting compound, and can read human emotions, particularly fear and grief. This causes Sebastian to have concerns, but when he notices Sophia is crying, he gives her Anna's jewelry. This triggers another flashback. Sebastian did his best to keep Anna safe, playing music in the flat, while Esteban and his followers were on the streets, forcing people to open their eyes, in order to be freed. Back in the present, Sebastian sees Anna again, confirming she is an apparition, rather than a real person. Claire tries to connect with Sebastian, reminding him the creature manipulates him using their loved ones. When Roberto collapses from an infected wound, Octavio, Sebastian and Claire begin looking for medicine in the building. Something catches Sebastian's eye, in a room with an open window. Anna returns, and tells Octavio to come over, claiming the window is closed. When Octavio comes in concealing his eyes, he sees the entity, and decides to end things for himself. Because of his uncertainties, Sebastian can't see the light radiating from Octavio's body this time. Things start to tremble when Anna begs Sebastian to remove Claire's blindfold, but, thankfully, Claire draws him away, before things worsen. They return to the couple, and Claire tells Roberto about what she discovered in the bathroom, while Sebastian debates whether he should listen to Anna or Sophia. Later, the few survivors continue their journey through town, toward Manchuk. Sebastian finds bodies bearing Esteban's mark, all throughout the place, and they suddenly find themselves stopped by a guy on a bike. The gang attempts to flee, but the seer smashes Roberto and Isabel, causing them to tumble. Knowing there is no way out, the two take off their blindfolds, and die together, as the sea takes them. When Sebastian notices the creature approaching, he pulls Claire and Sophia into a safe house. Claire finally notices Sebastian's goggles aren't genuinely dark, indicating that he too is a seer, and that he killed the others. She instantly snatches Sophia, and they flee, prompting him to pursue them. They rush upstairs to the roof, but he corners them and pushes Claire, before grabbing Sophia's blindfold. But before he can remove it, he meets Anna again, and finds she's bleeding. This makes him feel bad about his actions, and he decides to go for Sophia instead, while another flashback plays. Sebastian and Anna were celebrating Anna's birthday, in their apartment months ago, when someone burst in and knocked him out. He awoke on the roof with Anna, Esteban, and his supporters, who had forced Anna to open her eyes, and die before the creature. Sebastian glanced at the entity after seeing his daughter die, and then Anna's apparition came next to him, imploring him to rescue more people. It turns out Sears is still alive, because the thing uses him to bring back other victims. In the present, Sebastian saves Claire, and then to regain her trust, tells her about Anna, and explains he's finally snapped out of it, so he pledges to protect them. The Sears break into the building at that point, and the trio attempts to flee through the roof. A lady chases them down, and fights Sebastian, attempting to destroy his eyes. In contrast, he is stronger and pushes her away, causing her to fall and die. Following that, the trio flees to the streets and borrows a car, just as the seers break the windows. Esteban and his followers have their own automobiles, and begin pursuing them around the city. When they arrive at the cable car tower, Sebastian causes it to explode, in order to kill a few seers who catch up with them. Then he instructs Claire to take Sophia and go, while he keeps Esteban at bay. While the men dispute philosophy, Claire carries Sophia up the old stairs, and Sophia nearly falls through a broken step, but Claire catches her just in time. There's no way Claire can accomplish this while blindfolded, so she takes a chance, and ticks it off. Claire realizes the cable cars are not operating, when they finally reach the summit. She hastily rings a large bell, to create vibrations, which blur the entity's direction towards them. The whole environment, including the cable cars, begins to quake, as the beast approaches. Claire closes her eyes once more, as the thing urgently tries to seduce them, imitating their loved ones' voices. She saves Sophie just as she is about to fall. Meanwhile, on the ground, Sebastian spots Anna going across the burning automobile, and tackles her in an attempt to escape this horrible image, only to realize it's Esteban, and stabs him with an iron rod. Esteban stabs Sebastian back quickly, and both men continue to push their weapons, to prevent the other from fleeing. Claire concentrates with Sophia in her arms, and jumps into one of the cable cars, landing safely and ultimately escaping. Esteban and Sebastian both die from stab wounds, but he sees the cable cars going, dying in peace, knowing he helped his companions. Claire and Sophia arrive at the castle, and are met by the troops. They realize there is an entire community here, and Sophia is finally reunited with her mother. Meanwhile, Claire is sent to a lab for blood tests. She queries the other researchers about the objective of the testing, and they explain they've been trying to uncover a chemical indication of trauma, and exactly determine which emotions the creature is targeting. The goal is to create an antibody that will protect against the beast. Researchers then inject the antibodies into rats, and arrange their cages in a containment room. A seer, who looks to be one of the experimental volunteers, is lying in bed during this process. A terrible snarling sound suddenly comes from the containment room. Unfortunately, the results are not encouraging, indicating the vaccine ingredient has not yet been effective. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.